Welcome to the Modern Day Cottage. I'm Emily Ryder. This is my daughter,
Ruby Ann.
Today we're going to be sharing several things. We're going to be sharing 2 recipes, as well as making vanilla bean extract and making some jams. Our recipes are going to be St. Patrick Day themed. There are a whole wheat sourdough Irish soda bread and a traditional Irish soda bread. We hope you enjoy this video. Thank you for watching with us today here at the Modern Day Cottage. Ruby Ann is going to start off by making some sourdough overnight blueberry pancakes. You can find that recipe at themoderndaycottage.com. We will put the link below. We don't mix everything together the night before. We leave out the baking soda and the baking powder if it calls for that. So we leave out the leavening agents in it. We do refrigerate it for overnight. Some recipes will call for an out on the counter overnight, but because we add the egg and the butter, we find that we feel more comfortable with putting it in the refrigerator for the overnight ferment. And we have done really well with the overnight ferment. The taste is phenomenal. I have noticed like when we do the out at room temperature overnight, it's more gummy. The texture is more gummy than when we do refrigerator. When we do the refrigerator overnight, it's not a gummy texture. You can see in this video we've got mulch bags. We're getting ready to get the garden prepped, and I'm using fermented feed. We switched to fermented feed and we have gotten a higher egg production and a larger egg production. Like the eggs are larger and they are a lot more golden. The yolks are more golden color. So we find the fermented feed is the ticket for us. This is Chocolate, and Chicken Little is what we've been calling her. And we figured out we do feel it is a hen, so she's a little pulled. And we have decided we probably need to change her name. So if you have any name ideas, we would love to hear them below. Ruby Ann is going to add in some frozen Azzurri Standard blueberries that I highly recommend. They are so sweet and so big and so juicy. It is phenomenal compared to other brands that I have purchased over the years. We are Amazon and Azzurri affiliates, so any links below you do click on and make a purchase. We do make a small commission at no cost to you. I love this crepe pan. If you don't have a crepe pan, this is a game changer when you make pancakes on the stove, or even, you know, what it's intended for, the crepes. It is a good pan, and we enjoy using it to make our pancakes and our crepes, as well as hash browns, oddly as it is, but because the pan is so thin and it's easy to flip it. We're going to make some fruit flavored herbal tea. This is one of my favorite spring teas. We just purchased this from Bread Bakers. They sell teas. I can't remember the brand of the tea. If I remember, I'll put it below and put a link to that brand of tea, but we're not affiliates of Bread Bakers or the tea brands, but I will put the link below for you guys because sharing is caring. Ruby and I love having breakfast in the mornings together. We try to make a special time of it at least 3 times a week, you know, a special recipe here and there, and having our fruit flavored herbal teas. It is a delightful time for us to catch up and discuss what we're going to be doing for the day, and any projects that she's been wanting to do or that I have inspiration to do, and sharing them with her. Tea time has been a wonderful mother-daughter bonding experience for us. We are going to can up some frozen raspberries and blueberries that I bought from Azzurri Standard a few months back. We were going to do that during the winter months because it helps keep the house warm when you're canning, and it's just fun, you know, when the winter months are a little bit boring, when there's not a lot going on. But my mother came to live with us in November unexpectedly, but it has been a blessing. So that got sidetracked for a little bit. So now we're back back to where we can do more in the kitchen with our canning. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to can up blueberry and raspberry jam because we're using the fruit. We're not doing juice like you would for jellies. I also wanted to share with you, we're using Pomona pectin. It is an 100% citrus pectin. They make it from the orange, lemon, and citrus peels. You have to use a calcium solution. I think it's 2 teaspoons is what I use for, I think it was 4 cups, maybe 8 cups of fruit. But they have their recipes on their site, their basic recipes. The great thing about Pomona pectin is you can use way less sugar than you would with regular pectin. I love jams and jellies, but I don't love sugar jams and jellies, like where you cannot taste the fruit in it. This is phenomenal. You can taste the fruit in it. It tastes like you would just bite into the fresh fruit with this Pomona pectin. We really enjoy doing our water bath canning here in our cottage. You will see in more videos all the things we get into. We love pressure canning as well, as dangerous as it is. You heed caution with that. I will probably not do any blog post on canning because I feel like there's better experts out there covering a lot more information that you need for canning. I promise you it is simple to do and it's easy, and there's a lot of experts out there that can help with your canning. So the Pomona recipe called for 4 cups, but you could use 2 cups. It's at 2 to 4 cups. So I'm using half of the recipe than what it called for because I really want the fruit flavors to shine first before the sugar profile when you taste it. The raspberry jam has been our favorite so far. I am tempted to buy 10 more pounds of the raspberry and make some more raspberry jam and probably put them in bigger jars than these half pints. Probably do pint jars of the raspberry jam and the blueberry jam. It has been such a blessing to have in our kitchen. So I highly recommend you checking out Azuri Standard for your frozen fruits to make your jams and jellies out of. They are delicious and have not disappointed us yet. So our counter is full of blueberry and raspberry jam. It was a lot of work, but it has been such a blessing to heat up our whole wheat sourdough bread in the morning and to butter the bread and to put some of that beautiful jam on our sourdough bread. We are going to be making a traditional Irish soda bread and a sourdough whole wheat Irish soda bread. So right now Ruby Ann is making the traditional Irish soda bread, and she is going to be using sugar, baking powder, baking soda, and cream of tartar. That's one of the secret ingredients to traditional Irish soda bread. It takes the taste to a whole different level than using a recipe without the cream of tartar, as oddly as it sounds, but that is what the secret is. You can also add currants and raisins to this bread, and it's going to make it more of a sweet bread. And Ruby Ann, it was so funny, she said technically this is just a big biscuit. I was like, yeah, basically, but it's a tradition, and we love tradition, we love customs, and so we thought we would share our recipes with you guys. And if you want into sourdough, we have a regular recipe without the sourdough added in. But as always, you can convert any recipe into sourdough. You just subtract 50 grams of flour and 50 grams of water from the recipe if you're using 100 grams of half and half sourdough starter. That means if you started that sourdough starter and did half flour and half water, that's going to equal to, you know, if you use 100 grams of it, it's 50 grams water, 50 grams flour from your recipe. So you want to subtract those from your recipe if you add in the 100 grams of sourdough starter. And it's quite easy to do. It just takes a little bit of practice when converting your recipes. Alright, so you're going to melt some butter and you're going to brush that on after it has cooled and you've taken it out of the oven and it's ready to serve. So that's what we're doing right here. And you'll see me pulling the camera out and taking pictures. We're taking pictures for our blog. This has been a dream of mine for many, many years to have a blog, and Ruby Ann was my support and I don't know, what do you call it? She pushed me to do it, and so now we are doing the blog together. Doing the blog together with my daughter has been a true treasure and a blessing. And we hope you enjoy our blog. We put a lot of time and a lot of effort into our blog. And if you have any suggestions or you'd like to comment on our blog, we would greatly appreciate it. We're going to take our beet kvass and our fire cider. You can see our fire cider is getting low. We've got 2 more jars that we just strained off in the video before. We absolutely can tell a huge difference when we do our beet kvass and our fire cider weekly. We do the beet kvass daily, and the fire cider we do, I don't know, 2 to 3 times a week. But we can tell a huge difference in our energy and our stamina and just overall skin. We hope you like the fire cider and the beet kvass. You can find those on the blog at moderndaycottage.com. This is our kefir that we started in the last video, and it's actually made a lot of kefir, water kefir, and then we're doing a second ferment with the dark bottles with pomegranate juice and a little bit of sugar added to it. But please check those bottles because it can ferment very fast depending on the temperature of your home. So if it's above 70 degrees in your home, check it at least every 6 hours or so, because we have one to explode. And I will show you in the next video the ceiling in the kitchen. It will have to be sanded and painted. Let's just say that. So please proceed with precaution when you do a second ferment with the water kefir. And keep it in a cool, dark place as well. But like again, please heed caution and check that second fermenting because it does it very, very quickly. We are straining our milk kefir. The grains are actually growing. They're getting a little bit more abundant. And it doesn't take a lot of grains to get your milk kefir going. So don't be so focused on you need to grow those grains to make it. Just a few grains is all you need to create milk kefir. But I want to grow some and dehydrate them and share them with others because I find that they're just such a blessing to have. And I like to give gifts to my friends and family members, which they probably aren't into milk kefir, but I will give it to the ones that are into it. And we're grinding up, this is whole wheat berries. These are hard wheat berries. They are spring berries. Different times of the year will yield different berry starches. So somebody that buys wheat berries that are winter wheats versus spring wheats, you have to really kind of know what you're doing when you get into milling your own flour. I've had 25 years of practice and I still learn daily. So just because you have 20 something years of practice of wheat berries does not mean that you will know everything. Wheat berries are, you know, nature, and nature changes depending on the environment and the weather conditions. So some years they may have more starch in them, some years they may have less, and that messes with the proteins too. So you've really just got to have a feel for it. But I promise you, it's not as hard as what I'm probably making it like seem. It's just, it takes some time to get used to whole wheat when you mill it in your own home. And it's thirsty. It's got that wheat bran in it, so it's going to need more liquid than what a normal recipe would need. So you've got to gauge that too. So it just takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of time, but in no time you'll be milling your own flour and making your own delicious real bread with a lot of nutrients and a lot of protein and a lot of vitamins that you do not get in flour that has been milled and sitting on the shelf. Sue Becker has some YouTube videos up, and that's how I learned about milling my whole wheat. Not from her YouTube videos, but from her personally. She did a presentation and I was floored. I did not realize I was eating basically dead flour at the store. I mean, I hate to say that way, but it did not have the nutrients nor the vitamins and the minerals that our bodies need. And that day, I was 21, I believe, at the time. I remember going home and telling my ex-husband at the time, I'm buying us a meal. I'm going to start making real bread for our home. And he was like, okay. And so I did. I was a stay-at-home at the time too, and so I started cleaning office buildings and houses on the side to buy my first meal. So if there's a will, there's a way. I mean, we were barely making ends meet back then, and so I made sure that I devoted my time to get this meal to make our own. And the Whisper meal is my first meal that I had. And I started making our own bread at the home, and I noticed a huge improvement in our overall health. So I promise you, it is worth the investment. It is worth the time to learn how to mill your own flour at home. And you can cut it with all-purpose flour. I still do that. I still cut it with bread flour too. Some recipes do better with cutting it in with the all-purpose unbleached flour or the bread flour. So don't feel like once you go whole wheat, that's all you need to do. You can still just sneak it in for people who don't like whole wheat as well. We are making a gallon of vanilla bean extract, and I buy our vanilla beans at Vanilla Bean Kings, and we make a gallon every year. Some years we can't make a whole gallon depending on our finances, so I will get, you know, maybe 8 ounces at a time until I get enough for a gallon being in our pantry. Ruby and I are bloggers at themoderndaycottage.com, so we make a lot of our recipes on there. We create a lot of recipes, so we go through a lot of vanilla bean extract, and we find that the Vanilla Bean Kings, I used to buy from several different other sources, but the Vanilla Bean Kings has been the best vanilla beans yet, and I'm not an affiliate of them. I do have them in our Amazon storefront, but I will link direct to them as well, because sharing is caring. Thank you for watching with us today as we made several recipes and shared some of our cottage life here at the Modern Day Cottage. And as always, we will share homemade recipes, cottage living, and a cozy home. We'll see you in the next video.